What's up, YouTube family? No, you're not YouTube, you're Facebook. What's up, y'all? Facebook. See, I be doing too much and I already be having stuff twisted up. It's juice time today. I haven't eaten anything today yet. So I'm about to juice some oranges real quick. Greetings. Just doing some juicing. Nothing special. I'm gonna turn this light on. Yeah, no, I don't really. But as you guys know, like, I'm doing a cleanse right now, so mainly just lots of fresh fruits. Trying to minimize consuming cooked food during this process. I kind of talked about the importance of why we should be doing this at this period of time, considering that there is a winter solstice coming up on the 21st, which is going to be a big energetic reset for a lot of us. And I've just been feeling called to do like a really deep cleanse again, and using mainly just all raw food. So today is day 2 for me. My goal is to pretty much like not eat during the day and to really just focus on hydration during the day, and then to have one meal in the evening time. Possibly trying to get it all in before like 8 o'clock. So like that's my current goal right now. And I'm about to juice. What time is it? So it's 2:20 already, and all I've had so far was some apple cider vinegar water today because I ran out of my citrus fruit, my lemons and my limes. So I did some apple cider vinegar, and I'll show you what brand I use for that. But if you guys saw my post yesterday where I was talking about, using acidic foods, like vinegar is one that you can use, but if you have an aversion to using vinegar for any reason, you can always use lemons and limes because they are very acidic and they will offer the same benefit. But essentially what you want to do every morning is at least start your day with a shot of fresh lemon or lime water with the juice of a whole lemon or lime in it. And you can up the amounts of citrus that you put in there depending on how strong you want it to be. But the reason why we recommend this, especially when you are in a period of cleansing, is because the citrus fruit will really help to break up mucus that's in the intestinal line, and it'll help clean the villi in your intestines. And you have like a membrane in your stomach that typically gets clogged up from all of the stuff that you're eating on a day-to-day basis if you're eating a lot of starches and things that like, in that nature. So using your citrus fruit to help you do that is going to help purge and cleanse. So if you have not started doing that, even if you are not currently on a detox regimen, this is just something for preventative measures that you can do every day. Super simple. Just warm you up some water and then add fresh lemon or lime juice to the water after you've heated it. Do not heat your lemon or lime water. If you don't have fresh lemons or limes, then you can use some apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. So this is raw. This has not been pasteurized. But again, you just want the acidity. And I kind of already mentioned this, but right now, during the day, I'm focusing on hydration. Good afternoon, L'Oreal, and to everybody else who's just joining. But hydrating throughout the day. So that means starting the day with the lime water, drinking coconut water or some type of fresh fruit juice throughout the day to help make sure that my energy levels stay up. And then again, trying to eat a little later in the evening. So we shouldn't heat the lime in the water. No, you don't want to heat up. You don't really want to heat any fruit. Like once you start cooking fruit, it kind of defeats the purpose and eliminates a lot of the live enzymes and the life force that's in that fruit. So if you're going to eat your fruit or use your fruit as a healing mechanism, do it in its raw state. Don't cook it. And so right now, this is my first. So I was just telling everybody I already had a shot of apple cider vinegar water earlier. And then I had a cup of roasted dandelion root tea just because I wanted something warm. But dandelion tea is a diuretic, so it can dehydrate you. So if you are someone who is working to hydrate, like I'm working to hydrate my body right now. So I realized that was probably not the best choice of a tea today, so I didn't get to finish my full cup of that tea because I noticed that I started feeling a little more dry after I used it. So now I'm about to juice some oranges so that I can get some hydration, some natural sugars from the fruit, which is going to help keep my energy levels high because I still have to function and do what I need to do. So I can't be, laid out because I'm fatigued because I'm not eating. So I'm fasting right now and abstaining from eating because I also talk about this in the guide as well, intermittent fasting. And the more you're eating throughout the day, the less energy your body is going to have for restorative properties, for helping to cleanse and detox the body, or to just help you have more energy. Like breaking down food and digesting food is a very energy heavy process on the body. So that's why you always get sleepy when you eat heavy meals or certain foods. That's because it takes a lot out of the body to have to process that. But if you ever notice, when you eat fruits, those do not take energy away from you. Those actually give you energy and energize you. And this is why you guys are always seeing me posting, talking about if you don't do anything else, keep the fruits high. Like, I understand that everyone is on their own individual paths when it comes to improving their health and learning a little bit more about how to be healthier. But if you don't do anything else, that means if you can't give up chicken right now, if you can't give up fish, if you can't give up cheese, whatever, your barrier is, increase your fruit intake if you can't do anything else. Eat more fresh fruit. Fruit should not be just used as a snack. You can actually eat fruit as a meal. You can eat a whole pan of strawberries, blueberries, whatever. Make that a whole meal. That is going to energize you and give you more nutrients than you're going to ever get from eating a baked potato, a steak, and some broccoli. I'm just keeping it real. Those things taste good, but as far as nutrient density is concerned, those foods, you've already cooked all the life out of them first and foremost. So they're not going to supply you with much nutrients. And then secondly, the energy or the life force in the food, the chi as we know it, that you cook it all out. So the food is really dead. So it actually steals and robs energy from your body to digest those things versus them giving you energy. So if you really want energy, drink fresh fruit juices or eat fruit. Okay, you're tagging somebody. I'm going through the comments. Okay, I don't think I missed nothing. But I'm about to juice these oranges, and the type of juicer that I'm using for this, I'm going to unplug it and bring it closer so that y'all can see. But I am using a good old citrus juicer. So this is a Juiceman citrus juicer. It is an electric juicer. I got this from Target for like $25, $26, something like that. I've had this for about 2 or 3 years. In addition to the juicer that I already have that you guys have had me seen me use before. So I have 2 different types of juicers. I have this, and then I have my slow juicer that I could put anything in. The reason why I decided to invest in an additional tool like this is because in the winter time, I love juicing citrus fruit. Citrus fruit is in season in the winter, so this is the time where you're going to be able to find tangerines, which have seeds in them. You're going to be able to find your grapefruits. You're going to be able to find things called pomelos. I've posted about pomelos before. If you've never seen a pomelo before, go to the grocery store, Myers, Jungle Gyms, any of your local stores should have them. But those are excellent citrus fruits that you can use in the colder season to help you stay hydrated and to make sure that you're getting the nutrients that you need from those fresh fruits, because in the wintertime it's slim pickings. And citrus fruit is what saves me. Citrus fruit and coconut water and smoothies save me in the wintertime when I don't have access to watermelons and things like that. But coming back to this juicer, I'm going to show you my hand squeezer. So this is my hand squeezer, right? You put your citrus in here, you squeeze it, okay? I was doing this with citrus fruit, and this, after doing 4 or 5 oranges, you'd be like, I'm done. It's too much. So I didn't want to use that. And then with my other juicer, you have to cut the peels off of everything, and then you have to chop the fruit into pieces in order for it to fit in the mouth of the juicer. So for me, that was too much prep work for me. if I know I'm going to be juicing, a lot of oranges to, hold me over for the rest of the day. So I decided that I needed something like this that I could easily juice all my citrus fruit. That way I don't have to bring out the big juicer, and I don't have to, use all my muscle energy trying to squeeze oranges. Now all you literally have to do is cut your citrus fruit in half and then put it on top of this thing and then press down on it, and it'll spin and extract the juice out of it. So I'm about to do that and kind of show you how this thing works. And again, for those of you who missed it, I got this from Target for like 25 bucks. You can get this anywhere. I'm sure they sell it on Amazon. Different brands. There are more expensive ones that do more things, but I didn't need all the bells and whistles. I just needed something fancy. So again, you just press on it, and then the juice just kind of like starts coming out. And then the cool thing about this one is that it also goes in multiple directions depending on the pressure that you put on it to make sure that it gets everything out. So this is what it looks like after I'm done. And then I just toss the peels. Or you could also drop the peels in your garbage disposer to help deodorize your garbage disposer. Or you can boil them with water and add like different essential oils and herbs to it if you're big into creating, healing pots to purify the air in your space. You can do that. But literally, like, it takes me about 5 minutes to create like 20 to 30 ounces of fresh juice using this thing, compared to having to cut it, peel it, and then put it through my juicer, and then having to clean my juicer. That'll take a little bit more time. So for me, this is a lifesaver right here. 5 minutes or less. It really don't take that much. And then I also like to filter my juice towards the end. I'm real particular about texture when it comes to juicing. I don't like bits and pieces of stuff in my juice, so I like to filter mine at the end. Some people don't care, and they'll drink their juice with bits and pieces of stuff in it, but depending on how I feel and how lazy I am, I'll filter it using a strainer. So for those of you who are also cleansing and who are feeling like you are limited in your capacity to make fresh juices or different things like that, this is a small investment that you can use that can help you do citrus. And then if you want to do different types of juices, but you don't necessarily have the money to invest in a juicer right now, because the juicer that I have, and it's all dusty right now because it's sitting on the floor, but I'm going to pick it up and show y'all. And it's not assembled. Like, all of my pieces are not put on it yet. But this is my juicer. I spent like $300 something on this juicer, and I've had that juicer for about 3.5 years or so. I don't know. I'm losing count, y'all, because I've been doing this for so long. I just be forgetting. But that's a big investment, especially right now. It's the first of the month. Christmas is around the corner, so for those of you who celebrate that holiday, you may not necessarily feel like it's a worthy investment to go out and spend that kind of money on a juicer, even though it's worth it in my opinion. Give the gift of good health to yourself and your family for Christmas, and stop spending your money on pointless things that really don't have any value. Because the real wealth and the real thing is in your health. But anywho, if you don't have the money to invest in a juicer for whatever reason, if you have a blender, you can also use a blender, you guys, to make juices. You're going to need a blender, and you're going to need a strainer of some sort like this. And get a good strainer. Don't get a cheap strainer. Like, I'll say, when it comes to like the different things that I use in my kitchen, it is worth it to pay the extra few dollars to get a good quality piece of equipment so that you don't have to keep replacing it. Like, I've had this thing for years. So get you a good strainer. You can use your blender. You don't have to have a super fancy blender. Even though I would recommend, if you can, splurge on a Vitamix. That's the best blender in the game right now. And I can't wait to add one to my arsenal, but I just could not justify spending $600 on a new blender right now. But it's coming, and I can't wait to get me one. But anywho, get you a good blender. Add a little bit of water to your blender, and then add your fruits or whatever you're wanting to juice into the blender and blend it until it's all a nice pulp, and then pour it into a strainer and strain it. And that's how you can make fresh juices. Now, it will probably taste a little bit watered down. If that is a concern for you and you want it to be more on the sweeter side, get you some fresh dates, some dates that have been pitted, meaning that the middle core has been removed so that you don't, be blending up the seed. The seed is very hard, almost kind of like the pits that are inside of apricots and things like that. So make sure you buy pitted dates, and you can drop a couple of dates into your blend as well to give it some natural sweetness without you having to use, sugar or agave or maple syrup or honey. I have a Vitamix and love it. I've had it for about 6 years now. I'm jealous because I really want a Vitamix really, really bad. And I was just talking to someone recently about my goal to have one. And I was going to get one on Cyber Monday, but something in my spirit just told me that it wasn't the right time to invest in that. So I'm rolling with that. So I'll wait for mine. I still have a functioning blender that works just fine. So I'm gonna just keep rocking with that until it's time for me to upgrade, because I can't wait for that. But yeah, so that's how you can make juices if you don't have a juicer. Blend them and strain them, or get you one of these types of juicers and do a lot of citrus. And if you really want to be adventurous and really make sure that you're cleansing, you can juice a couple limes or a couple lemons and limes, like 2 or 3 at a time, and just take them straight like a shot. The reason why citrus fruit like that is so acidic is because that's medicine. Like, that is a way to help you purify and cleanse yourself of mucus and to get rid of the sludge in your intestines from a diet full of starch. So when I'm doing cleansing, I tend to use a lot of citrus. That's why I'm always juicing citrus fruit, because I know how powerful it is. This is also why, I also try to share my perspective on the whole alkaline theory and why I don't necessarily follow the alkaline movement, because I understand that certain foods can be used medicinally and that the body needs a balance of both acidic and alkaline foods in order to maintain balance, and too much of anything can be harmful. So to go around saying everything alkaline negates the fact that we need balance. Like, everything needs balance. So use your citrus fruits to your advantage to help cleanse and purge. Citrus fruit is also highly electrolyzing and energizing to the body because it has a lot of electrolytes in it. So does coconut water. And that's what real hydration is. You have to have the electrolytes in place in order to really replenish anything that's being lost through sweating, breathing, exercising, because the body releases a lot of water throughout the day by you talking, by you breathing, urinating, defecating. You're releasing and using water for all of those processes. So you constantly should be replenishing your fluids to stay hydrated. Otherwise, you're going to be chronically dehydrated. And I can guarantee you, most of us are chronically dehydrated. I don't care if you drink a gallon of water a day. If that water is not filled with electrolytes, it's just flushing right through you, and it is not really hydrating you. The only way that you're really going to hydrate is to stop eating foods that cause dehydration. So everything that is cooked and dried, snack foods like chips and crackers and breads, just think about those foods and they're dry. So when they're dry, your body has to use fluids to rehydrate them so that it can break it down and extract some type of nutrients from it. So now you're using your own body's hydration reserve in order to break down your food. And then if you're eating, I already talked about that. Okay, so you're eating crackers and stuff like that. They're super dry. And then if you're eating cooked foods where you have already also cooked the water out of them, that's what makes them get crispy and to the texture that we typically like them at. Again, We are dehydrating the food, and then when we take it in, we are again dehydrating ourselves. So our body constantly has to keep taking from its reserve to balance all of the stuff that we're doing to it. And you have to understand that the body is very resilient. The body is self-healing, and it wants to heal. We just have to get out of the way so that it can heal. And the only way that it is going to heal is if you give it the space and time, and you provide it the key nutrients that it needs to do that. And fruits, okay? Fruits is at the top of that list. Vegetables are not going to hydrate you like a piece of fruit is going to hydrate you, nor does it have the same type of nutrients that fruit has. When you think about a perfect piece of fruit, like let me get this piece of kiwi as my form of demonstration. So I'm not going to eat this right now, but I'll eat it later. But this is a golden kiwi, right? And I'm going to demonstrate why this piece of fruit is far more superior than a piece of lettuce, a piece of kale, an onion, a potato, a piece of steak, whatever. So first things first, it already comes in its own perfect housing where it doesn't need plastic, it doesn't need to be wrapped up, it doesn't need no aluminum foil. It's already ready to go until you're ready to consume it. All you have to do is just cut into it. Next, when I squeeze this, do you see all that juice that's coming out of that? That's hydration right there. Water-rich foods is what you need. So this fruit is already full of water, naturally filtered, structured water, okay? You don't have to filter what comes out of this because it's already been done through nature. Also, the pulp of this fruit, okay? This ain't nothing but soluble fiber. You want to know why fiber is so good for your digestive system? Fiber is what's going to help bulk up your the stool in your intestines so that you do not experience constipation, but it also helps to gently scrub the inside of your intestines and to help flow and push stuff out so that toxins can be evacuated. Like your body is not designed to hold on to toxic waste, but the foods that we eat are sticky. They are not full of hydration. They don't have any fiber in them. So the body has to work overtime to not only digest those things, but it also has to work overtime to push it out of the body. I found these at, and I got a big container of it. Like, I'm going to show you how big this container is. I got a big container of these. I already ate 5 of them yesterday, and I got 5 more left today. I got those from Sam's. But I've seen them at Kroger's. I've seen them at select Meijer stores. You should be able to find them, at your local grocery store. But most stores sometimes might not have them. But these are like the bomb diggity. They're super sweet. They're not tart at all like green kiwis are. So I prefer these over green kiwis. But these are excellent little things packed with power, fiber, hydration. And they also have natural sugars in them. And I want to talk about the sugars and why sugar is so important. We have been brainwashed by healthcare professionals to think that sugar is bad. But no one is telling you that all sugars are not the same. There are different types of sugar. Sugar is just a generic name to label a group of different types of sugars. You got simple sugars called monosaccharides. You have more complex sugars, which are called disaccharides. And then you have even more complex types of sugars, which are called polysaccharides. The more complex something is, the harder it is for the body to digest it and use it for energy and fuel and nutrients, etc., etc. Guess what foods are considered simple sugars? Fruits. Fruits are full of simple sugars, monosaccharides, which are like glucose, fructose. These are all natural types of sugar that the body needs, okay? You are powered by sugar. Not fat, not protein, not minerals, none of that. Your body requires sugar for fuel. The cells inside of your body burn sugar as an energy source. And when you don't eat the right sugars, you lead to exhaustion. Your energy force is not able to be sustained, so you are always going to experience some type of fatigue. And then if you eat an excessive amount of the wrong types of sugar, which are the more complex ones, like the sugars that we call starches, such as rice, potatoes, breads, all of those do have sugars in them, but they are complex sugars. Starches, harder to break down. The body has to work harder to extract them and break them down into their simplest form so that it can use them. But when you eat more of those and less of the things that the body actually needs, the body's working harder, which then can put people in a state where they may develop diseases such as diabetes, which is a metabolism problem. The body cannot break down or metabolize sugar effectively because you have abused your digestive system by eating too much of the wrong sugar and not enough of the simple sugar that the body requires. So the cure is to eat your fruit and to minimize everything else. I guarantee you, that's the secret. It's so simple. But nobody is really teaching us that. Instead, you got all these health gurus telling you to alkaline this, eat this, do your vegetables like this. No. Eat your fruit, okay? Eat your fruit and minimize eating steak, eating fish, eating shellfish, eating potatoes, minimize eating kale, broccoli. All of those things are not as superior as fruit is. We are designed for that. That's why it is a perfect food. That's why we don't got to do nothing to it to enjoy it. It's naturally sweet, naturally juicy, naturally full of hydration, fiber, minerals, vitamins. Everything that we need is in our fruit. Protein is also in our fruits. Like avocados have so much protein in them, but nobody's talking about that. Instead, we got somebody telling us that we need to be eating, a pig's ass in order to get protein. That's not how it works. And you also have to think as well, you guys. Most of the animals that we have been indoctrinated into eating don't even eat animals them damn selves. So you have to ask yourself, where is this animal getting its protein from if it doesn't even eat an animal, but I'm being told that I have to eat an animal to get protein? Have you ever thought about that? Chickens don't eat other animals. They typically are eating grains, or they might eat worms or bugs here and there, but they typically are eating grains, right? Cows, which we eat a lot of beef, a lot of steak, all of that. What do cows eat? They eat grass, okay? What is a pig eats anything, so I ain't even gonna talk about why we shouldn't even be eating them, but we just gotta understand that we are not eating animals that eat other animals. Fish don't even eat other animals. They typically eat algae and plankton and different things of that nature, so that's how they get all of their, fancy omegas and things that they need, the iodine. They're eating seaweed. We can skip the middleman and eat the seaweed. We can skip the middleman and eat some leafy vegetables if we need to get minerals in our body. And then we can eat our fruits to get everything else we need. Everything else is kind of really just a filler. And the nutrition, and that's the biggest atrocity, I feel like, aside from some of the, social and human rights issues that have happened to a lot of marginalized people, including people of African descent or people who are copper colored, being taken away from our homeland where we were connected to the tropical land and had access to all of the right foods. That is one of the biggest atrocities that have ever been done to us. And then being forced to eat stuff that is not really food. I don't care what nobody says. Eating a piece of steak, no matter how good it tastes, no matter how good it looks, that is not food when you understand the functioning of the body and what the cells in your body need to function properly. A piece of steak does not supply you with any type of simple sugar that is going to fuel the cells in your body. It doesn't. It does not add any hydration. It doesn't offer you any fiber. It may offer some select amounts of protein, but protein is minuscule on the scale of what is most important when we think about the key nutrients that the body needs for longevity and the ability to restore itself and stay clean. Meat is not on that list at all of those types of foods. So we need to be eating our fruit. I'm going to go through some of the comments. This is your favorite health show. Thank you, Coop. I'm going through oregano and water. So oil of oregano, which is an essential oil, is actually really strong. And before I finish that, I just want to show y'all the juice that I made. So I can't remember how many oranges I juiced, but this is a big measuring cup, and I got about 24 ounces of fresh juice from those oranges. And I'm gonna be honest, if you were to buy some freshly squeezed orange juice from like Jungle Gyms or Whole Foods or whatever, they're gonna sell you a 12-ounce bottle for like $5 or $6. You're not gonna get this, and you can make this anytime you want. And then clean up on this thing. Like, you can see like all of the pulp up here. All I have to do is just take this off, rinse it off, dump this in the trash, rinse this off, soap it up a little bit, and then bam, I'm done. Cleanup is a breeze with this. Doesn't require much. And I'll get to that later. But I'm thirsty, and my lips is dry as heck. I'm all crusty on camera. That's why I need to get this juice together. So y'all give me a second to get my juice together, and then I'll answer that question about, let me put my kiwi up so I can eat that later. Let me get my juice together. So I actually have 2 strainers. This is a smaller strainer that I like to use that has smaller like filters. Well, I don't want to call that filters, but it's netted a lot smaller so that it captures more. Oh, I got one more orange. Oh, my bad. I ain't done yet. Okay, so then I'm going to juice my last orange, and I'll answer the question about the oil of oregano. So oil of oregano, also called, essential oil, is very, very, very strong. Very strong, okay? It is an extremely potent and strong oil that has the capacity to burn you and your internal inside. So if you're using oil of oregano in any form, especially if you're going to use it internally, you have to dilute it. If you're going to put it in water, you only need maybe 1 little drop of that oil. I actually don't even recommend doing it like that. Put it like in a capsule. Put your 1 drop inside of a capsule, and then take that capsule with some water, just to avoid potentially burning your esophagus, because that oil is very potent. If you're going to put it on your skin, take a drop of it and dilute it with plenty of a carrier oil. You can use coconut oil, shea butter, whatever oil works for you, but you definitely want to dilute that. And the reason why oil of oregano is so good is because it's an antifungal, it's antimicrobial, antibacterial. So a lot of people like to use that to help get rid of things that are connected to fungal infections. So you can use it for that. Golden Kiwis, Jungle Gyms, Kroger's. I got mine from Sam's Club. Your fruit looks very fresh. Girl, do it, because these oranges been kind of sitting here. And I'm like, let me get these out of the way. I kind of just been holding on to them, and I actually need to replenish. I got 1 pineapple in here and my kiwis, and that's all the food that I have. I intentionally have not been shopping so that I would not be tempted to cook stuff. So I need to go out and replenish and get me some more fruit. I love this. Keep posting these educational videos. Thank you. I will. Let's see. Water alone isn't hydrating enough. Nope, it is not. So drinking a certain amount of water depending on your weight isn't true. No. And I kind of already talked about this in regards to why water alone is not super hydrating. Because water is empty. It's sterile. It doesn't have anything in it. Water, this. Look at this. This is what real water is. It has natural sugars in it. It has electrolytes in it. It has been naturally filtered by nature. So there's no additives or man-made process that has to go into filtering this perfect water that is inside of this fruit. And it has electrolytes in it. You have to have the electrolytes in order to help replenish and balance things like potassium, magnesium. Okay, those are the things that the body needs. Sodium, these are all essential electrolytes that the body needs in order to conduct processes in the body, because the body is electrical, so it needs those things to help to conduct electricity. And that is a big component of hydration. This is why if you buy Gatorade or Powerade and things like that, they market it as a hydration food because they are adding artificial electrolytes into it, when really you could just drink some fresh fruit juice or some fresh coconut water to replenish your electrolytes if you play sports or exercise a lot, and stop drinking fake juice that has been sweetened with a bunch of artificial sugar or fake flavors, fake colors, all of that. You can just skip all of that and just get straight to the fruit or some coconut water. I need that machine too. Details, please. That machine that I got, purchased this. It's a Juiceman citrus juicer. Got it from Target for about 20 something bucks. 25 bucks. Okay, so I think I answered all the questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my last little orange. But for those of you who have invested in the detox guide that I offer on my website, I kind of talk about this in more detail and explain to you, the process of detoxing and putting the body in a state where it can heal and repair itself. And we talk a lot about hydration and why hydration is key. Like, in your body, the kidney's main role is to filter toxins out of your body, liquid toxins out of the body, and to urinate them out. But everything that is being released has to be replenished. And if you are not keeping balance, making sure that you keep the body hydrated, then you're going to run into some challenges. So staying hydrated is very important. Super duper important. And I know this is not big enough, but oh well. I don't feel like getting that down. So I'm going to just go ahead and strain my juice so that I can chow down. And then my juice is also room temperature. I prefer it to be a little colder. I'm not even going to hurt. But the way that I'm thirsty right now, I don't care. I'm gonna just drink it straight like this. I don't have ice cubes. I typically don't have ice in my house because I typically don't like cold beverages. So I don't even really have ice at home. So I'm just using this spoon to kind of like help me move around the pulp so that the juice can get through. And then this, I'm gonna just dump. Some people like pulp in their orange juice. I'm not one of those people. I don't want to chew on nothing while I'm trying to drink it. Okay, where my cup at? I'm gonna have to use this. Alright, so last time. Now, it seems like I've done a lot, but really this isn't a lot, and this process literally takes me minutes when I'm not talking in the middle of it. It goes really fast. And I'm going to be honest, I got tired of spending $12, $13 on one little punk-ass 12-ounce juice. This is almost 32 ounces of juices right here that I just created on my own. I know where it came from. I know what's gone into it. I know what energy was used when it was juiced. And that's important to me. Like, everything carries energy. And so people who are creating your food and juicing for you, like if their mood and their energy ain't right, that can be transferred into the food and it can make you sick. So those are also things to like take into consideration why you should start preparing food more often at home and learn how to be more connected with the preparation process of your food. This is hitting the spot. Like, it's just something about fresh fruit juice. Like, water just don't have the same effect. Like, if I was to sip a cup of water right now, it's just not, my mouth's still gonna be dry after I drink this. But it's almost like fruit juice is wetter than water. So it gets in there. There's no way, I don't have the words to really like express what I'm trying to, like, I can't explain it. But if you've ever been super thirsty and ate like a piece of watermelon or cantaloupe versus drinking water, like you know what I mean. Like it just feels totally different. Any other questions you guys have so far? Like I talked about juicing. We've talked about the kidneys and why hydration is important, with helping to encourage them and their filtration properties to filter out toxins. We've talked about oil of oregano, digestion, intermittent fasting. We've talked about a variety of different things. I feel like we did literally just have like a mini little learning session. But if anyone is interested in joining in on this cosmic cleanse, I'm gonna call it, this detox process that I feel like a lot of people in the world are currently being spiritually called to do, and you need guidance or support, or you don't know where to start, or what juice recipes you should use, or what equipment you should use, I do have a guide on my website, plantbasedfromscratch.com. It's in my bio on my page as well. It's currently on sale. It's 50% off if you would like to invest in that. Definitely look into getting the guide to help you learn the basics of how to detox, because that's another topic that kind of like makes my ass itch a little bit, because there's a lot of people out there who want to detox and who want to heal their bodies properly, but there are also sharks out there that are hopping on this bandwagon, and they are using people's ignorance as a way to exploit them out of money, and selling them a bunch of products and stuff to claim it's going to help them detox. But the real truth is, you're not going to detox using an herb or by eating cooked food. Like, if you really want the body to start detoxing, you have to start using more fruits. Like, these are the most cleansing foods that exist on the face of this planet. There is not a herb, there is no detox tea, there is no meal that is going to encourage detoxing, but your fruits are going to really initiate that detox process. And in the guide, I kind of break it all down for you and explain that to you and why, so that you have the knowledge to understand how to be in control of your own cleansing and detoxing process. And you know for your own self, okay, if my goal is this, then these are the types of things that I should be eating right now. And if I want to elevate on my detox process and move up and down, I call it my detox hierarchy, then I know that I need to eliminate certain things. Like, a lot of people don't know that nuts and seeds and things like that are going to slow down and stop your detox process, even if they're not cooked. They are still very complex foods and hard to digest. And again, the more the body has to work to digest something, the more energy it has to use for something else, which means that it's not going to be detoxing and cleansing, because it's too busy trying to break down some almond butter and apples that you just ate. Okay? Those foods don't even mix well anyways. That's another thing that I teach you inside of that guide, is proper food combining, and understanding that we don't have 4 and 5 stomachs like cows do. We don't have compartments. The body is only meant to digest certain things at a time, one thing at a time. So this whole complex way of eating that we have been taught to adopt is also another thing that destroys our digestive capabilities. We're not meant to eat a piece of steak, some broccoli, some rice, drink some water in the process while we're eating, or some soda, and then turn around and eat a piece of chocolate cake at the end. Like, that is terrible. The body cannot handle all of that at one time, and that is why most of us experience heartburn, like indigestion, bloating, gassiness, and all other types of issues connected to digestion, because that is your body's way of telling you that something didn't get digested properly and it's fermenting in your stomach. When you eat something, the first thing that you eat is going to provide your body instructions to let you know, like, okay, some food is coming, and based on the enzymes that are present in that food, that is going to help the body digest it. But when you cook the food, you kill the enzymes. So then the body doesn't really know what you just ate. So that disrupts, a part of the digestion process. Secondly, when you're eating multiple things that require different enzymes, like meat requires different enzymes to be broken down versus a piece of fruit. But when you eat all of those things like within the same setting, the body doesn't know what to handle first. So something is going to be digested and other things are not going to be digested. And the body cannot push the meat to the side and say, oh, I'm going to get to that in an hour, and then deal with the fruits first. Like, it doesn't work like that. Everything is in one space, and the body is going to do its best to handle what it could. But some things are not going to be digested, and it's going to ferment in your stomach. And that's why you get bloating. That's why you start having to poop. All these different things. Those are all symptoms of malabsorption and digestion problems. Do you like kombucha? I do not. I do not like kombucha at all. I actually really don't care for fermented foods anymore. Only because as I've grown in my understanding and my knowledge, that fermented foods is just a fancy word for spoiled or rotten food. And I personally just don't think that that's a health food. Like I think we're supposed to be eating foods that are spoiled or allowed to become spoiled. Cheese is spoiled. Yogurt is spoiled milk. Like let's just call it what it is. Like that's why it's tart and it's sour. It's gone bad. Okay? When you have milk sitting in your refrigerator for too long and it goes bad, what does it do? It turns sour. That's old. But you know what? This food system that we depend on is so cheap and does not care what it does. It is never going to waste anything. So it has learned how to make products out of stuff that typically we would throw away. If your milk goes bad, you're not going to turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to use that and I'm going to make some yogurt with that spoiled ass milk. And then I'm going to put some strawberries and some granola on top. Like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Like, no, we don't do that. We're going to throw it in the garbage. But this food industry, nothing's going to go to waste. They're going to make yogurt out of it. They're going to take all that old spoiled milk and they're going to make cheese with it. And then let it sit some more and ferment and mold. Like, all of that. Like, y'all don't probably hear me say it that way, but that's what it is. What do you think blue cheese is? That is molded cheese. Molded, old, spoiled ass, rotten milk. Like, come on. And we have been taught to enjoy these things. Like, heck no. It tastes good. Like, I enjoyed yogurt. I liked cheese. I liked all of those things with the exception to, I ain't never messed around with no blue cheese. But I like cheese for the most part. I wasn't a big milk drinker, but I liked yogurt. I like sauerkraut. That's a fermented food. But you got to think, like, where did this stuff come from? Why did we start eating sauerkraut? And that makes me think back to, you know, the whole issue with, you know, the Jews over in Germany and whatever happened in their, what do we call it? Damn, I forgot it's not a massacre. What do we call that? Their situation over there where the Jews were persecuted and killed. My brain just lost that concept. But the Holocaust, that's what we call it. Gosh, I just had a brain fart. The Holocaust. So, you know how a lot of them were hiding and they didn't have access to food, so they had a lot of canned goods and stuff, but that stuff started going bad and spoiling, but they still ate it. That's where some of this stuff I feel like comes from. Like, they had sauerkraut and stuff like that, and that was cabbage that was just sitting there for a long time, and they learned how to preserve it in such a way that they could still make it edible. Like, I don't know if that was something that was meant for us to eat by nature, or if that was just something we did to adapt to a situation so that we would have, you know, something of sustenance to keep us alive. So when I think about stuff like that, I'm like, I mean, just think about when a piece of fruit becomes too ripe. It starts to ferment and it smells like alcohol and it looks and tastes weird. You don't want to naturally eat that. So why would you eat it because it's been packaged up and labeled as healthy to you by the food industry? I guarantee you, when your kiwis and stuff go bad and you smell them and they smell weird, you're not going to eat that. And if you've never eaten a piece of fermented fruit, then you probably can't relate. But I've had a bad, a cantaloupe. My cantaloupe was so ripe and I had no idea it was bad. And I'm like sitting down like, oh, I'm about to tear this up. And I cut into it, took a big spoonful and put that piece of cantaloupe in my mouth. It was so disgusting. Like, it was so trifling. And it turned me off. And I ain't eat cantaloupes for like a whole year after that. Like, I was scared to eat them because it was just like, I'm pretty good with knowing my fruit and knowing when my fruit is super ripe and all of that. So I just was like, I was scared. I was like, I can't. That was traumatic to me. It just tastes disgusting. So, yeah. Now that I know the truth behind what fermented foods are, I don't really eat them anymore. The only thing I have in my house right now that is a fermented product is this apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't buy this to consume. I bought this because I was using this as a face toner to help lighten up dark spots on my face. That's what I bought that for. Because it's very acidic. And acidic foods like lemons and limes, you can also use those in place of vinegar. But they have the ability to help lighten the skin if you have marks and stuff and dark marks. And I'm still healing my skin from being stuck in a year of depression and not really taking care of myself all 2019. So I'm trying to reverse some of the wear and tear that I caused on my body, being in that state of mind a year ago when I really kind of wasn't taking care of myself. Do you guys have any other questions? Like, I feel like I'm just blabbering on. That whole spiel just came from someone asking if I eat or drink kombucha. Don't do cheese, LOL. Is kombucha good for us? I don't personally think kombucha is good for us. But that's just me. I'm going to tell you this. I am only a messenger, and I am only here to share my perspective about how I feel and what my experiences in life have shown me through, how it has made my body feel or what I have observed through using certain things. So with that being my preface, my personal perspective on fermented food in general is that it is not a health food. And I do not recommend them as such. But if you still enjoy the flavor of them and would like to enjoy them from time to time, then by all means, feel free. What you get your juicer? You talking about this juicer, Yasmin? This one? Or my heavy duty one that is sitting here on the floor? Even with it being a probiotic, what can I use for a probiotic? That's another thing that I have learned to kind of just disconnect from, this whole concept of probiotics and prebiotics. Like, I don't even buy into that anymore. This one came from Target for like $25. It's a citrus juicer. I don't really advocate for probiotics anymore. And the reason why is because when you eat the right foods, your fruits and vegetables are not sterile, meaning that they already have beneficial bacteria and stuff on them. And when you eat the right foods that don't disrupt the chemistry in your body, then they're not going to upset the imbalance. They're not going to upset the natural chemistry in your body. So the bacteria that is present, it's going to stay in harmony. It's going to stay balanced. And so you don't need to pop an artificial culture to help keep your gut healthy. You just don't need to do that when you're eating the right foods. And then secondly, where is these bacterium coming from? Like, you gotta start questioning things. Like, what is this? Like, I swear, if you just clean out your colon, get all that bull crap out of it, okay? So all the meat and the salmon and the shrimp and the little cheese here and there that you do consume, clean all of that out of the colon, because that stuff sits and it sticks there. If you eat 3 times a day, and that's at a minimum. If you eat 3 times a day, but you don't poop 3 times a day, you have stuff stuck in your body. And if you're doing this every single day, there could be a long line of crap just stuck in the intestines, not being evacuated in a timely fashion. So that's what's destroying the balance in your body and the chemistry of your intestines. Once you clean that stuff out, you're not going to need probiotics. You're not going to need fermented foods to do none of that. Your fruits are going to provide the necessary beneficial stuff. The fiber is going to provide beneficial stuff to the intestines to help feed, whatever microflora that is in there that is beneficial to us. And it's also going to help keep whatever is not beneficial to us in check, because fruits are not going to ferment in your body, and they will exit quickly and rapidly like they are supposed to, as long as you are not abusing them and eating them in wrong combinations, or cooking them and eating them in ways that they're not designed to be consumed. So just eat more fruit if you want probiotics. And like I said, I swear that's the answer to everything. Like, y'all ask me, like, I got diabetes, what's the solution? Eat some fruit, stop eating everything else. I got constipation, what's the solution? Eat some fruit, stop eating everything else. Like, I swear, After 11 years of embarking on this wellness journey and spending all of my spare time researching and studying and applying all of the knowledge that I gained throughout the years, it all led me to this one space that everything that I ever thought was true about health and wellness was covering up this one simple thing that nobody is really out there talking about. And if you do hear people talking about it, people think that they are absurd and that the information is faulty. But it's always been fruit, like fruit, and allowing the body to purify itself by simplifying the diet so that all of your energy is not used on digestion. And we are not supposed to be eating as much as we do. That's why we are sick. That's why we age so rapidly, because the body doesn't have time to do anything else. We eat all day. We wake up and we eat breakfast and we eat a bunch of bull crap that ain't even healthy for us first thing in the morning, when the body should really be in a state of fasting so that it can eliminate everything that we ate the day before. So we mess up first thing in the morning. We already messed up. Then before lunch, we snacking on something. We eating potato chips, some almond trail mix or something, because they said that was, a healthy snack, right? So now we're eating that. Then for lunch, you go and get you a salad with some chicken and cheese and stuff in it, and some chips and some soup from Panera Bread or some Benihana, whatever you eat. Eating more cooked food, okay? So now we're at 3 times that you done ate something. Now the body has to constantly keep diverting energy to break down food. And these are not simple foods. It's not a piece of fruit. You're eating a very complex meal that has a vegetable, so it has leafy vegetation in it. It has a starch in it. It has protein in it. It has sugars in it because you've added sauces that are sweetened with, artificial sugars and things like that. It has oils in it. Oils go rancid once you heat them and cook them. So the body just got a lot to deal with in that one meal. But we don't really think about how complex of a process that is. So that's just lunch. Then after lunch, you probably are going to have another snack. Then you're going to go home. You're going to eat dinner. That's a whole nother complex meal. Then you might have some dessert. And then those of you who stay up late, when the body really should be resting so that it can rejuvenate and recover from what all the stuff you did the day before, you're eating some more. You're up snacking and eating cookies and cupcakes and stuff. Like, we really be tearing our bodies up, and then we wonder why we have vaginal problems, women, why we can't go to the bathroom and boo-boo on our own, and we're constipated, why we are overweight and have a pooch in front of our stomachs, why our breath stinks, why our hair won't grow, why our thyroid levels are all over the place. And that's just to name a few things. Why do we develop cancer? Why does my skin look like it looks? Why do I have eczema so bad? All of those are just symptoms of a bigger problem. Your diet and way of life is destroying the body. That's all that is. That's your feedback system telling you, hey, wait a minute, something ain't right here. So you're going to keep breaking out. You're going to keep being constipated. You're going to keep having yeast infections or BV, because that is your body's feedback system telling you that things are off balance in the body and you need to stop something quick, fast, in a hurry. And I used to deal with all of those things many, many years ago before I found out that it was the food and my lifestyle that was contributing to all of those things. And I was very embarrassed about what was going on with my body. I didn't have answers. My doctors wanted to just keep shoving pills down my throat. But at the end of the day, it never helped anything. And I got fed up and was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot on my own. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know with Google and this little mind of mine that's not going to stop until I find an answer, I'm going to figure something out. And that's pretty much what created the path for me to get to where I am today. I had to be my own healthcare professional and create my own wellness plan over 11 years ago to heal my own body. And from that process, I realized that it was the food. I was eating Olive Garden like damn near every other weekend. That was like my favorite place to eat. Nothing but cheese and pasta, right? And bread. That was tearing my digestive system up. I was constantly bloated, gassy. I couldn't boo-boo, y'all. I was only having one bowel movement a week. Like, it was terrible. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I constantly had feminine issues. I had gained weight. I was like a size 7 or a 9. I've never been that big. And I've always relatively been a smaller person. My normal size is like a 3 to a 5. I was a 7 to a 9. I just had a lot of different things going on with me, and it was the food. Thinking because I was eating them little frozen smart meals that was healthy, right? No, this stuff is full of preservatives, full of processed junk. There's no life force energy in it because it's all cooked out and then it's frozen at that. And I was eating those things thinking that was a healthier option when really I should have been eating fruit and helping to cleanse and purify my body. And this is why I'm so passionate about teaching and sharing this information, because your doctor is not going to tell you these things. If medicine actually worked, why do you have to keep getting a prescription? Why? Like, I'm trying to teach y'all how to heal a situation so that it doesn't come back. Not give you a band-aid to just make it feel better for the time being. Like, no, that's what a doctor is going to do. They're going to make it feel better for the time being. But that medicine is going to potentially create other obstacles later down the line, or it's going to have other side effects that are going to impact you in some type of way. I didn't want that to be my life, especially coming from a family where I have lost all of my grandparents to some form of cancer. That's another thing. Like, I cannot repeat that cycle. Can't repeat that cycle. Both of my grandmothers, both on my mom's side and my dad's side, died from, or they had, not cervical cancer, they had colon cancer. So that has nothing to do with the stuff not being able to be eliminated. They also had other challenges as well, but that's what ultimately was what sealed their fate. My grandfather on my mother's side had pancreatic cancer. So that is issues with metabolizing. The pancreas is a big part of digestion. It releases proteins called insulin. Like, that is a protein. Like, a lot of people don't even know what a protein is. We think protein is just something that builds muscle, but proteins are things that are building blocks, and they also have information in them that tells the body to do something. So insulin is an actual protein that your body makes on its own to carry out certain processes. But nonetheless, he had pancreatic cancer. That killed him. I don't know what my dad's father just recently died from, but it was something, I can't remember. I didn't really have a relationship with him, so that's blurry. And then my best friend, I lost my best friend to cervical cancer. So cancer to me, and trying to make sure that I understand the pathology of that disease and what creates it in the body, that is something that took my attention after I lost my first grandma to cancer. I wasn't into my knowledge like I am now, so I didn't feel like I knew enough to really help her. But when my mom's mother developed cancer, I was ready. Even though me and her never really had a deep relationship, I had a whole plan ready for her. Like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to heal this naturally, and I'm going to be here the entire step of the way with you. But she chickened out, and behind my back went and got on chemotherapy. And that was, her situation. And then with my best friend, she had cervical cancer, but she also had a lot of other challenges that were contributing to her illness. And she already knew what was going on with her body and what to do, but you got to do the work. And, sometimes people are okay with processes that are taking place. And I had to just realize, even with my own best friend's journey, that maybe this was something that she was comfortable with. As far as some of the things that I knew she was struggling with and dealing with in her own personal life, maybe, that process and not fighting against it was what she wanted in order to gain her sense of freedom. And I had to learn how to accept that. So it's just been so much that I've learned through my journey in interacting with other people and having people in my life go through certain things to help me be better in my purpose and what I'm sent here to do. So, like I said, this is why I'm passionate about this. So with the whole organic versus not, what's your opinion? So organic really just has a lot to do with how the food is grown. Let me turn this down because this music, these my little affirmations playing in the background. Hold on. But what was I gonna say? So organic just simply has a lot to do for it has a lot to do with, sorry, I just lost my train of thought trying to read this comment. I love you, Brittany. I'm almost ready for my lifestyle change. I will be purchasing your services soon, inshallah. I love you too, Maylene. Just connect with me whenever you're ready. You know how to find me. L'Oreal, back to organic food. So organic just has a lot to do with how food is grown. Like, are they using pesticides, or what types of pesticides are they using on the fruit? It really doesn't have anything to do with if the fruit or vegetable is genetically engineered or not. Just like you see seedless grapes and stuff, like those can be organic as well, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't been tampered with. So my advice on the best foods to eat is, if you can find stuff that is organic and non-GMO, that's what you want. With seeds. With seeds in it. Non-GMO, organic, and with seeds is what you want to strive towards. But that is very hard to find if you're shopping at local grocery stores. And I was also telling people, why can't I get a woman like this? I don't know. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you are doing that is not attracting this type of spirit into your life? Same thing. I had to ask myself, why can't I get a man like me? But when you have people in your head telling you that the way that you live your life and what your expectations are unrealistic, and that you'll never find people who can meet that standard, and you believe that, that's the message that you send out into the universe. And so of course it's going to be challenging for you to find and attract someone who's on that same level. So once I understood that and stopped feeling like what I desire and what I require is too much, that's when everything starts falling into place. So you got to start, re-examining what thoughts do you have about finding your mate. But what was I talking about before? Oh, your food. You want it to be seeded, organic, and non-GMO. But I was just expressing how challenging that can be sometimes, because I'm tired of standing up and I'm about to sit on this. Hold on. But it's challenging in this city, I will say, in Cincinnati, to find those types of foods. And in most, suburban areas and, city settings, urban settings, I meant to say not suburban, but urban settings, it's challenging to find high quality fruits and vegetables, because all we really have to depend on is grocery stores. And these grocery stores don't cater to what we really desire. Everything that they sell really is fake. It's all GMO. It's not organic. Most of it is seedless. So that's a problem. So what you want to do, sorry, I'm going to put my juice in the freezer. So I started encouraging people to start, investigating in your city, different ethnic grocery stores that you can shop at. Like when you think about the Chinese people, the Indian people, the Africans, the Mexicans, when they come to a community, they set up their own shops so that they can have access to their own traditional foods and things like that. And so typically if you shop at places like that, they will have better quality fruit, and they'll have stuff that hasn't been, tainted with. That haven't been tainted, not tainted with. They have foods that haven't been tainted. So start looking into places like that. They're all over the city. There's tons of international markets, smaller markets outside of Jungle Gyms. We got Jungle Gyms, but Jungle Gyms is far and expensive. So those are just things to take into consideration. Just get familiar with your environment and what's around you. Are you a vegetarian? I would consider myself plant-based. So I eat vegan food about 98% of the time. And then the other 2% of the time is when I have my little relaxed moments where I'm like, oh, if I want a candy bar, I'll eat a candy bar. If I want a cookie or something, or a piece of cake that I know might have something in it that is not totally vegan, that's the room of okay that I'm okay with. So that's kind of like what my diet looks like. 98% vegan, 2% have fun. But I don't eat meat, just to confirm. So in my little 2% space where I allow myself to have fun, I won't eat meat, but I will allow myself to have something that may have like milk or egg or cheese in it. And that's my happy place for me. What else? Any other questions? And the reason why I'm sharing this too is because I also want you guys to know that being plant-based gives you that control. Like, it gives you space to determine how strict or how relaxed you want to be with your diet, so it's doable for everybody, because it's stages. Like, I've been completely plant-based for 5 years now, so this has become my new norm. I'm used to living this way now. But as a beginner, you know, it was challenging for me to adopt a plant-based lifestyle. I didn't know anything really, and I did not spend a lot of time preparing, and so I made every mistake in the world going through my process. And then I also did it by myself. Like, I didn't have a coach to help me go through that process. So, and then I also lived in a family of other people who were not in support of the changes that I was making. So I was doing it alone while still being around people eating meat and chicken and seeing Doritos and cookies and stuff all over the place. And I had to learn how to develop my discipline so that I would not succumb to old behaviors and habits. So that's pretty much like what my process looked like. And after overcoming that and being able to maintain that, you know, I learned a lot. And that's why I do the work that I do now, sharing my experiences and my knowledge and helping people transition and teaching them all the little shortcuts that I learned from all the mistakes that I made. So if you're thinking about going plant-based, but you're like afraid to take the plunge, or you feel like you don't have as much knowledge or all of the resources that you need, don't forget that I do also have a program that is designed to help walk you step by step through that process. And I'm going to be starting a class on Saturday. For anyone who is listening and who is interested in joining, just send me a message if you would like to set up an enrollment call and talk about, you know, if the program is a good fit for you. But I do have that as a resource for anybody who's thinking about it. You know, this is the season to start making shifts and changes and working on yourself. I've been preaching this for a long, long time, that your health is your true wealth, and you'll only be able to witness it for yourself until you try it. That's all I can say. But if you have some type of health issue, and we all do, we all got something going on with us. The food is the root of it. The food is the root. Any other questions before I check out and start cleaning up my kitchen and going about the rest of my day? Well, I'm looking all rough. Alright, so it looks like there are no other questions or concerns, so I'm going to go ahead and check out on this one. I'm going to save the video, so I'll post it back up for anyone to come back and watch if you need the information. But I hope that everyone has an amazing rest of the day. Don't forget why you are on your journey for healing and cleansing. And if you ever need support, y'all know how to find me. I'm breastfeeding and want to detox. Is that safe? Yes, as long as you are not using any products that could potentially contaminate your breast milk. If you are following the guidelines and recommendations that I share in my detox guide, then you'll be fine, because you will only be consuming fruits and vegetables to help the detox process. So you should be fine. Just got to make sure you eat enough and stay hydrated with milk production. And you can find that guide on my website, plantbasedfromscratch.com. It's also linked in my bio on my page if that is something that you would potentially like to look into. Any other last minute questions? I know it takes a minute for y'all to hear what I say and then for it to process through, so I'll wait a couple more minutes. You are welcome. Alright, so I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and head out, y'all, and get my living quarters in order. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace and love.